So we have just created this material builder in order to start the ocean shader development. If you aren't familiar with ocean or with shader development in Houdini, I'll try to break things and make them as simple as possible. And you can just talk to me if in the forums if you don't understand something. We have two global variables here. We have the surface global variables and the displacement global variables. Here we have the color of our surface, the opacity of our surface, the surface normal, and we are not going to use these globals in our video. We are just going to use the displacement global. We are just going to apply the ocean spectrum as a displacement in our shader. So when you just press rendering, it will apply the material and apply the displacement of ocean waves. So we are just going to use a node like this ocean evaluate, but in shaders. This ocean evaluate takes the ocean spectrum and applies it to a grid in order to preview it. But we are just going to use this node, which is called ocean sample layers. So here you present the position of our points or the surface position, but actually this position here is interpreted or is presented in the shader or camera space. So you need the camera space is just the position with respect to the camera preview. You need just the position as a SOP position or an object position, because here in the SOP network it's given the position of the grid points as a position in the world space here or the object space. This point here has a position maybe 2, 3, 1, blah blah blah, with respect to the origin of the world and the axis of the world. So here in the ocean shader we are going to add this transform node in order to transform this to the object space. Actually space is a pure mathematical subject, and we are not going to dig into this, but actually position and parameters here are given in the camera space or shader space. We need to transform this into object space like the one in the SOP network. Without further ado, I will just connect this to the ocean sample layers. Okay, and I'll just promote the parameters of this ocean sample layers in order to control them from the node out here. So I have just in the parameter in the VIX options here, I have selected create input parameters, and we have those parameters here in the outer context in order to control them easily. So after we have done this, we need to apply this displacement to our position and to our normal. So to apply this to our position, we need to add it to the position of our points in the shader. But now we will have an error because the position here is in the object space. So we need to add another transform from the space current here from the object space here. So I'm going to select object space to the current space. Okay. Now I have my position that can be applied to the displacement output, but I still have the normal component, and actually we don't have a normal component here in the displacement sample layers or the ocean sample layer. So I am going to add a node called shading normal, and this node takes the position, and our position will be just the position of the displacement, and the normal, which will be our surface normal, and it will just create a new shading normal depending on the displacement position. Then we are going to connect this to our displacement. Actually, we're done now with the displacement, but we need just two parameters or two properties in order for our displacement to work well. So we are just going to add a properties node, and this node allows us to create properties and add new parameters to our shader. So I'm going just to connect it with this shader series output here. Okay, now I'm going to edit our rendering parameters, and the rendering parameters here, it will be like this. I'm just going to search by displacement, and I have this displacement bound parameter and the true displacement. Okay, I also where is this third parameter? What was it called? I think, yeah, we don't need any third parameter. We just need these two parameters, and I think it will work. So let me apply this, and for this displacement bound, I will set it to 2, and I will just promote it to control it from the out context. Now we are done with the displacement. So if we now go to the object level, and here is our mesh, apply this ocean. Okay, I've just called it ocean shader because I have this ocean old material here that I've created before. So I'm just going to select this ocean shader, and in the out context, let me create the mantra node from scratch, render create node mantra bbr, and this creates a mantra node with the rendering engine set to physically based rendering, which is the most accurate rendering. So here we have our camera is set to camera 1, which is the camera I'm using for rendering, and let me just try rendering test. This is an old render that that I was making, or I was testing just the shaders before playing or before recording this video. So it's now creating our displacement for the object mesh. Okay, and this is a good sign that our displacement should work now. Okay, but it will not work. I promise that it will not work because we didn't load the ocean spectrum. Okay, so as you can see, it will not work because of two reasons. The first reason that we didn't load the ocean spectrum, and actually this is where I have saved the ocean spectrum here. Okay, you can just copy this and reference it there. Okay, and this will create our displacement, but there will be no object in the rendering because we didn't create the lighting shader for our object. we have just created the displacement, but the lighting shader just creates the color and reflections, refractions, diffusion, or diffuse to our object. Okay, so I promise that there will be no object here. Yeah, let me stop this until it renders. So as you can see, there is no object here in the rendering. So to create the lighting shader, I will just use core. I think it's classic shader core, which creates basic diffuse, reflections, refractions, and in order to output this, we need to compute lighting or use this information to compute the lighting and output it. So connect this layer, this F, this OF. Actually, we just need the F because this F is just the physically based rendering. But I will connect these two guys. I think they are belonging to the ray tracing method. Then connect this to the surface output. Okay. Then here in this classic shader, I don't need any diffuse to our ocean. We just need basic reflections, and I will just reduce this intensity to 0.95, enable refractions. Now let me render this, pause the video until it renders. Oh, finally it starts our rendering. You should notice that we have extended our mesh a lot, and it is it's always a great idea to extend your ocean just by just the amount you need. Actually, we have a very stupid thing here, and there are strange black areas. This is because I think, yeah, this is because I've added this displacement here to this shading normal. Be careful, you should add it after adding it to our position. Okay. I don't know how I didn't notice this. Okay, everyone can make a mistake. So let me wait for its rendering now. Actually, another thing that you must change is the interpretation here in the second transform node. Just change this into a direction vector, okay? Because this is just an added displacement. Okay, this is not a position. This is a displacement vector, okay, that will be added to our position. So now we start to have a very good looking ocean, but the refraction is a bit freaky. Okay, so let me pause for this video, and in the next video we are just going to create the interior of the ocean with this ground node, and this will make our refractions look very good. So thank you for watching.